Hello there. Welcome to Rosy ASMR. Thank you for joining me. So, today we're doing another tutorial in coding, and so I've got one other one. You're welcome to check it out if you want. It is just a brief overview of basic topics in programming, but it's not essential that you watch that one before watching this one, so you're welcome to stick with this one if you want. In the other video we discussed variables, data types and for loops. So if any of those topics come up in this video, I will just give a brief overview of it, and yeah, so it's not essential that you watch the other one. So in this video, I'm gonna see how far we get, but I'm gonna start off with arrays, then I'm going to go into methods, and we can see if we have any time for anything else after that. Yeah, but we'll start with that for now. So I am writing comments at the moment, just extra typing typing sounds, and also explanations, because I know people learn in different ways, and it usually helps if you can hear something and see it as well. So we've got both, but this video is mainly for ASMR purposes. So if you learn something, I'm glad, but if not, it's alright. Hopefully it's relaxing. Right, so we're going to start off with arrays, like I said. So I'm gonna maybe just give a brief overview of variables, right? So variables are containers or data, right? So you can have a variable called number that is of the data type int. So data type, the type of data that can go into the container, right? So we've got this variable, its name is number, so every time we want to refer to it we call it number. So if we want to do something with it, there we've got that container there with number in it, called number, and it's got the number 9 in it, right? So that's just a simple variable, but sometimes we want a collection of data. So if you then want a second number, you say my second number is 3, and then you want a third number, and your third number is 7. Alright, now you've got to define each of those individually. They're not one whole collection altogether, there's random different variables. And so if you want a collection of variables, you can use an array. So an array is an ordered collection of variables, although they're called elements in an array, that can be directly accessed. So there are lots of different types of collections, and all the different collections will have different features. The array is the sort of the basic one in a way, what's the most used, I think, and so that's the one that we're using. Alright, so let's do an array of the int data type. So the int, sorry, I don't think I mentioned, the int data type, let's do it here, data type is for basically like numbers. That's really simplifying it. It's for integers, whole numbers, I guess. Right, so we're doing, so you've got basically not decimals, anything but decimals basically. Right, so we're going to do an array of integers, right, of ints. So we're going to very originally call it numbers, and okay, so let me explain what I'm doing here. So int and those two square brackets defines an array of ints, okay, and numbers is the name, new, it's just a keyword for allocating memory. Don't have to worry about it too much. And then you have to repeat int in the brackets. That's just how the syntax works. And I don't know why I didn't specify that we're using C#. I'm sorry, I should have. We're using C#. So other languages will have similar concepts, but differing syntax for the most part. So what you learn here should be pretty transferable for other languages as well. Yeah, obviously there are the differences between things, but I feel like once you know one language very well, it's quite easy to translate that knowledge into the other languages. Well, in my experience, I've found that like knowing C# really helped when I used JavaScript or when I used Java. Yeah, you get the point. And then the size of the array is in the brackets. In our case, we made it 10, size 10. So there are going to be 10 elements in the array. Okay. So if we want to put something in our array at a position, we can do it like this, right? So this is saying that position 0 in our array. So the container at position 0 in our array contains the number 4. Alright, so you'll note there that I started 0, not 1. So that's because in coding we start at position 0, not 1. I'm not exactly sure why. I think it has something to do with memory, but I'm not actually sure. But yeah, just always remember that it starts at 0, not 1. Okay, so we can at each position add whatever we want. I'm actually going to make this a bit smaller so we don't have to do so much. Right. So, what am I doing? Keep skipping numbers. Then because we started at 0, instead of ending at 5, we'll be ending at 4 because it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That equals 5. I've already got a 6. Okay, so now if we for instance want to go through our entire array and say for instance display all of the numbers in our array, we can use a for loop. So let me just quickly recap a for loop. It's basically just a way to repeat code efficiently. Right, so we say for int I equals 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. Okay, so remember I said that code starts from 0 and goes up to 5. So instead of saying 1 to less than and equal to 5, we go from 0 to less than 5. If you said less than or equal to 4, that would basically be the same thing. And so if we did that, we could say console.writeLine numbers, and we can just put I there. Okay, so if we did this without a for loop, we would basically have to write out console.writeLine numbers and then 0, then 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. Whereas here, our loop will do it for us. So this I here is what's going to go into here. So it's going to start off at 0, then it's going to go to 1, then 2, then 3, then 4. And then it's going to stop because it will no longer meet this condition. So it starts from 0 and it goes up until 5, and once it hits 5 it leaves the for loop, right? So I'm just going to add in console.readline so that it allows us to stay on the command line. The UI, the user interface for this program is the command line. So if we run that, we'll see our code run over there. So we've got 4, 6, 0, 3, 8, and so that is corresponding to 4, 6, 0, 3, 8 in our array, and it's used this loop over here in order to display those numbers. So for loops are very useful for working with arrays like you don't really use arrays without using a for loop. So right now you kind of get the idea of how an array works, and you can do arrays with different data types. So for instance, you could do string, with new string, and a string is kind of like a word in a way. So you can say word 0 equals, and you can put my name in the first position, right? So yeah, it can work for different types of data, different data types, not just with integers. Alright, now I think we should get into methods, okay? So a method is, let's maybe start by explaining this here. This is the main method, and so code will always be run in here. Right, whatever you put in here will be run, and so if you have code outside of your main method, it won't be run unless called from that main method. Okay, so external code, external methods code will only be run if called from the main method. Alright, so for instance, if I create a new public static void new method. So this is my new method here. I'll explain how it all works a little bit later. But if I just create this here, and I have some code here, some random code there, right? If I don't include it somewhere in this main method, it won't be run, right? So I would have to at some point say new method, right? And there I'm calling it, and there it will then, when it gets to this line, it will skip to the method, run that code, and then return here to continue. Okay, so it will then continue here basically once it comes back. So it will go into new method, runs here, and then it will return and continue here. Alright, so it's pretty nifty. Basically it is an easy way to reuse code, because you can call that method multiple times. So you can say new method again, right? And then we want to do it again. New method, and after some other code, new method. You get the point. So that is basically the gist of how a method works. So it is quite convenient to use methods to do specific things with your data, right? So if for instance you wanted to make a method that got the max number in an array. Okay, so here we've got this method that we've called max number. Let me just go through each part. So you can make a method public or private, but we're not going to really worry too much about that. You can also make it protected. It's just basically indicates which methods can access it, but it's not a big deal. So these methods are being called from the main menu, which is a static class, and so this also has to be static. A static method. So this also has to be static. Then we have here int, and you'll see over here we had void. Now this meant that it wasn't returning anything. So void if not returning anything. Else data type of return. Alright, so in our case we want to return an int, so we've got int there. Okay, then we've got name of method, which is max number. Great. And then in our brackets we've got what we're sending to the method. We want to send, so the method expects to receive I always do that. I always mix up my I and my E with receive. Anyway, expects to receive an array of ints. Alright, so we've just in our case called it numbers here. It could actually be called something else. You can call it an array. It doesn't have to match up with what you call it here. Like if we call it numbers here, it doesn't have to be numbers on the other side. Alright, so if we're going to use that method, then we're going to say int max equals max number, and we're sending through numbers. Okay, so what this is saying here is we're calling the max number method, we're sending it our numbers array, right? And you'll see this numbers is an int array, and over here it's expecting an int array, so it's happy with that. If you did a mismatch with the data type, it would start complaining and you'd get red squiggles and stuff. Like here, if I said words instead of numbers, you'll see there it says it cannot convert from a string array to an int array. So it doesn't like that. Okay, so we also are saying what we receive back. We want to put into the int container called max. Okay, so we're creating a variable called max that we're making the data type int, and you can see what we're getting back from here we're putting into that container. Alright, he's still with me, I hope so. So that's how our method call works, right? Now in here we can do the actual code to get the max number. Alright, so how are we going to do that? this doesn't have too much to do with methods, but we may as well do it to see that everything's working right. Alright? Great. So, what we're going to do is we can start off with an initial max, okay? That we're going to make, say, some impossibly low number, okay? So our current max is that, okay? So, we're just assuming that that at least one number is going to be greater than that to get the actual max, okay? So, what we're going to do is run through the array. So in our case, we know the size of the array, but we want this method to work for any array. Right? So don't assume the size, for example, because we don't know if the array will always be 5 elements full, you know? So what we're going to instead do is array dot, and you actually will see that it gives you options often. It's quite useful because it tells you what you can get. So this is array.length is a built-in function that tells us the length of the array, which is very handy. So in our case, it will go from 0 up until 5, right? And at 5 it will stop because that's our array length. So that's perfect. But it will also work for a different array that's not the one that we specifically have here. If we have another array of say 10, it will check what is the array length and it will go up until 10. So it will go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and it will stop there. Right? So that's very useful. So we're going to then use an if statement. So an if statement, that was another thing covered in the first one. Let's see, variables and if statements, so forgot that out there. Alright, so I'll quickly go through if statements again. So if statements check if a condition is true or false, and code is run accordingly. Alright, so in our case, we're going to say if something, then we want this to happen. So if array, and we want to be at position I, is greater than max, then we want to do something else, we want to do something else. Right, that's the basic setup of an if statement. So you have your condition, and it's saying if this is true, if the first element, or the second, or the fourth, or whatever element we're on, because remember I is going to go from 0 all the way to 4. Okay, so you're going to check for each element in the array, is it greater than our current max, our current variable that holds the max value. Alright, I hope you're keeping up with me. So we're going to check, and if it is greater than, we want the max container to then contain this new max value. We don't want it to have the negative 99999 for the rest of days. We want it to take on this new value. Alright, so we have negative 99999, in this container, and we're like, no, we don't want that, and we put something else in instead. Alright, so the negative 99999 gets forgotten, and then this new value will come into it instead. So in our case, we don't actually need the else statement, but this is just if false, what do we want? Okay, so for the if statement, it's if true, what do we want? And then if false, we put the, okay. So this then should run through the array and check each time which is the max. Alright, so it should run through the whole array and check which is the largest. Okay, and then you'll notice here that our method is I'm happy. It's got the red line, and that's because not all code paths return a value. You'll see here we don't at any point actually say what we're returning in this int data type there. Right, so what we want to return at the end we want to return something back to the main method. Alright, and what are we wanting to return? We want to return the max value. Alright, so we're going to use the keyword return and return max. Okay, so whatever's in max will be returned. It won't be the negative 99999. It will be whatever's now become the max. Okay, return keyword to send data back. Okay, so our method will receive back its max value over there, and we can then maybe display it if we want. console.writeLine max. Let's maybe, we're gonna add in some words here. Max value is, right, so that's just concatenating this onto the string. That was covered in the first lesson, but it's not too important. Okay, yeah, then let's run that and see how that works. So there you'll see we had all the values displayed already, 46038, and it very cleverly works out that the max value is 8. Alright, so we got the answer that we would have wanted, because obviously 8 is the biggest number. And so we know our little max number method works, right? And because we didn't specify the length for that array, it will work for any array, because we use this little function here. So that is very handy dandy. Right, so I think that about covers what we're going to do in today's video. If you are wanting me to do some more videos like this, you can let me know. I'm happy to. It's quite fun for me. I know it was a while since I did the first one, but I'm glad I got back into it. And yeah, like if it helps, or even if it's not educational and it's just, you know, for relaxation purposes, all the better. Yeah, happy to do it. And I hope that you enjoyed it and that you have sweet dreams. there's our last little message. Thanks for watching and sweet dreams. Bye.